Hey everybody, Dan here with The Wealth Instinct. I wanted to share with you my review of the book Influencer, The New Science of Leading Change. But first, if I could ask you a favor and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so you get notifications when I add new content. I share a lot of posts on business and personal development and leadership. And this book is one of my favorite books in general. Specifically, it's on how to lead change on a large scale. And it's something that I think the world needs. And if you have some mission, if you're trying to change some organization or change the course of humanity, like I think that this book might inspire you. There's a lot of different stories in here about people that were put in a situation where they had to change the way people viewed something or behaved. And it's hard, because we have so many embedded traditions and beliefs, even in an evolving culture like we do here in the United States, that it's hard to change. And the authors really looked at people who were able to do it and what it was that made it effective. And a lot of great stories in here. I think, to me, some of the key concepts are that, well, one is that our beliefs about how to get people to change, like of how it's done, are are incomplete, right? We have these thoughts about, oh, if I show people the data, if I show them the charts and the graphs, if I just give them enough evidence, they're going to change. And the truth is that people don't, and there's reasons for that. And they go through some examples like of I think they talk about the Scared Straight program, where they would have at-risk youth meet with um, you know I would guess hardened career criminals, and they would basically try to scare them and say, look, this is where you're going. This is what I was like you, and this is where I ended up. But the kids didn't really make the connection, right? Like they couldn't see it from their vantage point. And but then there was another program where they were able to bring some suspects in and show them in a clearer way the path they were on and where it was leading, and helping them to see that change, and by presenting it in a different way and by connecting it to them more personally, um, they were able to help them change. There's some good examples of. I think there's an example of the guinea worm and how they were able to eradicate the guinea worm in small villages in Africa by getting people to change their behavior. And first they figured out the behavior of the people that were able to do it. They did some key behaviors, and so they identified those behaviors and then went to the influencers and were able to educate the influencers and get they had to get everybody on board, because if everybody didn't follow through with these critical actions, it wouldn't work. And they were able to do it by going through sort of the social chain of command by the people who had influence already. And there's some stories of in different things. There's some stories in Thailand of how this doctor tried the traditional route of education and data and convincing people to make change, and then didn't work, and then going specifically to the people that were sort of at the tip of the spear in of preventing this outbreak of HIV, and really communicating to them in a way and empowering them to make different decisions so that they were able to change. And what they sort of found is that we love to present things, and we love to present data in graphs and statistics, but what really affects us and what really helps us to change are stories. And stories can be used you can pull out a story that's not statistically significant, and it can be compelling, and you can get people to change in a way that the data doesn't support. So you have to be careful of that. So you want to make sure that you do use the science and the data to find the right story that that exemplifies the situation that you're trying to change, and tell those stories. And they tell some really fascinating stories about changing people's, I forget where this was, but changing people's perception of what's acceptable in a relationship in terms of physical violence, and this culture where it was acceptable to beat your spouse, and how they were able to change that through, I think it was a radio program where they introduced these characters that people cared about, but they had these flaws, and by providing a solution in the context of a story, they were able to create real change in the society. And just so many amazing stories. And these are by the same authors of Crucial Conversations, which I also highly, highly recommend. But really, what it comes down to is storytelling. To me, human life is all about relationships. We're dependent on other people for everything in life. We tend to think that we're independent, but we're really interdependent. And everything comes down to relationships, and we relate to each other through stories. That's why they're called relationships, and relating to people. And this book really shares so many powerful stories of how we relate, and how to effectively lead change. And I think, at a time, probably any time in history, there's important things that need to be changed. But right now, with the population being bigger than it ever has been, and I think there's a lot more complexity to it. But I think, it's a time when we need leaders to step up. We need people like you who are passionate and believe in something to step up and share your message and share your story with your audience in a compelling way to lead change. So definitely recommend this book if you want to have an impact on any organization, on your family, on your country, on your world, whatever. Definitely recommend it. I'm kind of surprised, like I don't hear a lot of other people talking about this book, but I just think it's amazing, and I highly recommend it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Um, and I think I'm going to go back and read it again now. All right, thanks for listening. Have a good day.